right, how to put your senior dog on a ketogenic diet. Meal prep to make the keto diet simple and easy so you're not running around constantly cooking. Now, there are many benefits to the keto diet for your senior dog, and a slew of reasons why this type of diet is so beneficial to dogs of all ages, especially older dogs, dogs dealing with seizure disorders, autoimmune disorders, cancer, lymphomas, whatever. This video, however, we're only going to go over the meal prep, how to make this as simple as humanly possible. What I did was made a whole separate video I put together for why your senior dog will benefit from the ketogenic diet. There's a link in the description below, and I'll put it again at the end of this video. So what do you need to make this diet work? So we'll start with the absolute basics. Number one, you need a kitchen scale because you're going to have to weigh everything out. 7 bowls like this, or containers, however you like them, Pyrex, Tupperware, plastic, glass. Why 7? Because you're going to meal prep a week in advance. So you have all 7 meals made. Now this is for my 70-pound mixed Doberman. She is named Gangus. She's 13 years old. She's about 70 pounds, and she's battling lymphoma right now. She's doing very well. But this is one day. This is 1 day's worth of food. So we just cut this in half. Meal at 12 and a meal at 5, because we also do intermittent fasting, and I have another video for that. I'll put in the description why we do that. A protein source, a fat source. You need chia seeds and then a vegetable. Now here we have pumpkin and spinach. These are my 2 go-tos for several reasons. Pumpkin has a great fiber content, as the spinach, the vitamin and mineral content in both of these vegetables is fantastic as well. These are the absolute basics. So if you've ever looked at the keto calculator online, how to figure out how much food to feed your senior dog, because obviously if you've gone from dry food, the bag says, hey, 2 cups, 200 grams, whatever it is per day. Now you're dealing with actual food. So you got all this laid out in front of you. How much do you give these dogs? How much do we give them? So I have 2 dogs right now on a strict keto plan. Gangus, who's 13, and Lucia, who is only 2.5, but she's dealing with an autoimmune disorder, so she needs to help with that. They're both about 70 pounds, so this is 500 grams of pork. I'm going to explain why I use ground pork and ground beef. If you've seen the keto calculator online, you'll notice they ask you to pick a protein source, then a fat source, then your vegetables. Okay. If you're choosing something like ground chicken, ground turkey, organ meats, fish, they are very low in fat, so you got to add extra fats to their meals. Could be in the form of butter or ghee, preferably organic, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil. Those are all fine sources. However, when you do pork or beef, especially if they're very fatty cuts, every Wednesday, I go to the butcher shop and get 15 kilos, or about 33, 34 pounds of ground pork or a ground pork, ground beef mixture. And I told him to give me the fattiest cuts available because I explained the ketogenic diet and why he needs it. So he hooks me up with the best. Now for this, we don't need to add any other fats. I do add other fats to help get my seniors into ketosis faster, especially Gangus. She had some issues getting in. When I added extra fats, especially, as I'll show you later, MCT oil, you can use coconut oil as well, it helps them achieve ketosis faster. So the basics are, I prepare the pork or the beef in a slow cooker, a crock pot, okay? Have a pot that's big enough to do the whole batch at once. If you have a smaller crock pot, a normal size crock pot, obviously, you got to do it in smaller batches. This on high for 4 hours cooks fine. If you can get one, it's called a canning pot. It'll look like an enormous size crock pot, essentially. It's electric. You can slow cook meat in that, and you can do as many pounds or kilos as you want at the same time. So we slow cook this. This is important. If you're doing raw, obviously, skip the cooking section. But this is 500, we're going to take 500 grams, put it in here. Then we're going to have spinach, raw or cooked, the cooked version. Chia seeds, 1 tablespoon per 20 pounds of body weight. So about 10 kilos Every 10 kilos, every 20 pounds, every 22 pounds, you're going to want to put 1 tablespoon. Very important. Pre-soak these. So these were soaked in water beforehand, and they get very gelatinous. Basically, especially for senior dogs, chia seeds will come in and pull water out of the lower intestine, and it helps them go to the bathroom. But this can be a little dehydrating, and the ketogenic diet in general is dehydrating. Also, for example, for Ganges, she's also on an oral chemotherapy, which can also be dehydrating. So I soak these beforehand to make things a little easier on her. To already have water in the chia seeds, then they don't have to pull so much. Then we add about 100 grams, 120 grams of pumpkin. This is the already made version. This was also made in a crock pot. Cooked it in chicken broth. You can also do this in a pan or a wok. Put a little bit of bone broth in there, or the pork fat. Throw that in there. Believe me, even the fussiest of dogs will eat this. So here's the prep. Take 500 grams or whatever is right for your dog. Put it in. We add the 100 grams of vegetables. As you can see, this is already pre-mixed. I put her supplements in. This is for Ganges. So she's got 2 bromelain, which help with joint articulation and some pain relief. This is a digestive enzyme. And the chia seeds are already mixed in. This is already ready to go in the morning. The only thing I don't put in is her her chemotherapy pills, because I'm not sure the effects of the refrigeration or putting it in the freezer water would have on the stability of those products. I also add fish oil at the last moment. So cut these in half, or you can give this as 1 meal, 3 meals, however your senior dog prefers. Those are the basics. It's actually pretty easy. When you use a protein source like this that already has the fat built in, you don't have to worry about much else. Now, here's the add-ons. This is what I like to do because we want to give our senior dogs super nutrition. We want to charge them up so that they're full of energy and full of life like a puppy again. We want to make their joints feel good. We want to help their gut health. We want to help their digestive health. All these things are having a circular effect. You improve their gut health, their brain starts to feel better. You improve their brain health, their immune system starts to function better. And with all the oils and all these different supplements, we're going to make their joints feel really good too. So this is the upgraded version of the keto diet for senior dogs. So what do we put in here? Number 1, fish oil. Now, this I believe is in Norwegian. I'm not sure. I'm in Europe, so this is the best I can get. This is a human grade product. This is, I believe, cod liver oil. Yes. Cold pressed, organic, the whole deal. This is has a little bit of orange flavor, but there's no sugars or anything. This is given 1 tablespoon per day for a dog the size of the 2 that are on the strict keto, which is about 70 pounds, 32, 33 kilo. Okay, so you can't go wrong. You can't give too much. If you want to give double the fish oil, you can afford it, that's fine. Go for it. The second fat I add, this is usually given to them in the morning. This is an MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride. Now, athletes use this when they're on the ketogenic diet to help them get into ketosis more quickly, more easily. And for humans, it can help you stay in ketosis even if you're playing around a little bit with your carb levels, all right? You don't need to add this. Ganges was having a little bit of trouble. Once I started this, she slipped into ketosis very quickly, which I test with keto test strips and blood sampling. Okay, so this is mostly coconut oil. It has a separate oil in it that makes it a medium chain triglyceride to help put them in ketosis, but extra virgin coconut oil is a fine addition as well if you don't want to spend the money on the MCT oil or you can't find it. Next, this is extremely important, especially in Ganges's case, because she has a mass on her butt, but she also had some nodules in her lymph nodes, which run along the digestive tract. So if those continue to grow, it would block her. If she didn't poop, it could be life or death. So for the first few days on this diet, which I started immediately once I figured out what was going on, unfortunately, the doctors here were a little slow to take action, and it was a nerve-wracking period. So I put her on the ketogenic diet immediately before she started chemo, before she started anything else. Knowing that it is both dehydrating and it can cause a little bit of constipation, I thought the chia seeds would be enough. They were not. She was going to the bathroom about once a day, and I was in ansia, as we say here in Italy. I was anxious all day long. So sometimes she'd go in the morning, sometimes not till midnight. The midnight days were hellish. That's when I decided to give her a fiber supplement. This is straight psyllium husk. This is like a Metamucil or just a straight fiber supplement. It's a powder. Okay. 1 scoop, 1.5 scoops for a dog her size. Go by body weight. So if you have a smaller dog, obviously start slowly because you don't want your dog to have any gastric distress. Seniors, much like senior people, they can start to develop a little bit of what we would call here intestina pigra, your lazy intestine, meaning you have a little bit of trouble passing. So senior dogs can get this issue. One, they don't really regulate their body temperature very well. They don't understand if they're very hot or very cold, so they may not drink enough. And then they're lacking fiber from this type of diet, even though there is fiber in the spinach and the pumpkin and the chia seeds. It might not be enough, so you give them a little help. So when I switched the food prep and started to include this twice a day, 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop in her evening meal, she's been going fantastically, like clockwork, and it has been a huge relief on me. Any of you who are dealing with your senior dog going through any sort of health issue, cancer, autoimmune diseases, or just a upset stomach, whatever, you know how nerve-wracking it can be. This was an absolute lifesaver for both of us because I was going to have to go to the hospital for just a cerebral hemorrhage because I was ready to just lose it anytime she didn't go to the bathroom on time. So the fiber was a lifesaver. It's very important. Even if you have a smaller dog, huge dogs, any type of senior dog, try out the fiber. I would strongly suggest it. Now, it's not in the basic package, but again, this is the upgraded ketogenic diet for senior dogs. All right. Next up, this is from the Bones and Raw food line. We don't do raw. However, this is basically a vitamin. I don't know if you can see here, a multivitamin, multimineral, and most importantly, because one, you're not getting all the artificially added vitamins from commercial dog foods. So you want to make sure you're adding in vitamins. Now this is a powder. Doesn't really have a smell. They seem to like the flavor. They haven't rejected it. And Genghis is a pretty damn picky eater, so thank God. This is organic stuff, and if you can't see here, it also has, this is the most important. Now, this is included in the minerals, but these are electrolytes. This is absolutely essential for all seniors, whether they're on chemo or they're perfectly healthy. When you're in the hot summer months, when it's humid, even in the wintertime, you want to make sure their electrolytes are always on point. So this has sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. All right, include that with vitamin C, and you have a good electrolyte profile. This is extremely important. This is something that is unfortunately overlooked all the time by the rank and file veterinarians who still think that, most commercial dog foods that sponsored their textbooks in veterinary school are the top of the food chain, literally, for dog foods. Your dog is a mammal, just like us. They need electrolytes when it's very hot, when they go for walks, when they're playing, whatever they're doing. If their electrolytes are being depleted, and when it's very hot and they're drinking a lot of water, they're actually flushing their salts out. So we have to replace their sodium, we have to replace their magnesium, and their potassium. Super, super, super essential. So if you can find a product like this I believe is German. Yes, that is German. Anything like this, look on Amazon or wherever you shop for your dog's supplies. Anything in the BARF, in the Bones and Raw food line, is going to be very complete because that's a very strict type of dieting, much like keto. And these products are always very complete and help in a lot of ways with vitamins, minerals, making sure your senior dog is getting super nutrition, not just regular nutrition. Next up in the extras package, digestive enzymes. Now, not all the dogs get these all the time. When they have a stomach ache, they certainly do. But the seniors always get essential enzymes. Now, for Genghis, obviously, she's taking an oral chemotherapy. So my priority is to make sure her stomach feels well at all times. You also want to make sure that your senior dogs are taking every last ounce, every last gram of nutrition from their food. You want to make sure they're digesting every gram of protein, breaking down all the fats. There's not, obviously this is keto, so there's not a lot of carbs, but you want to make sure that those are broken down, digested, or passed out as it goes. So essential enzymes, any basic enzyme formula is fine. I really like this one. It's pretty basic, but I use this as well. The dogs use it. It makes a huge difference. Anytime I've had a senior or even a middle-aged dog on antibiotics or they've had to take medication, the vets usually prescribe some sort of stomach protectant and then they get constipated. This actually works better than most, which are basically like a Pepcid or a Pepto-Bismol. Rather than coating their stomach, let's help them break things down, all right? So add an enzyme. As you can see here, she has her enzyme in there already. Gets one with breakfast, one with dinner. And last, this is Kefir, or Kefir, or however you like to pronounce it, which is a fermented milk drink. You've probably seen it in the supermarket. This is homemade because I do everything homemade, and I spend a lot of time on these damn dogs. So this is basically homemade. Like I said, we use organic milk, or we have local farmers here who give us sheep's milk, cow's milk. This is excellent. Now, this is full of probiotics. All right, so you may have heard about yogurt. As you can see there, this actually still has the Kefir grains in it because this is a batch I'm currently making. So normally you wouldn't have those clumps. You can buy this also at the supermarket. Every supermarket has it now, and they have some decent ones. So try to get the best quality you can without added sugar. So just plain. There should only be a few carbs from, obviously because it's a milk product, but don't worry about those carbs as far as you're only going to be putting a teaspoon or a tablespoon per meal, depending on the size of your dog. And the live cultures will take care of those sugars. That's what they live off of. Now, probably heard about people eating yogurt, Greek yogurt, to help with their digestion. Yogurt has a couple of million strains of beneficial bacteria or probiotics. Kefir usually has between 25 and 50 billion. They're diverse strains, which helps your senior dogs' digestive health, their gut health. Will help them digest their food. It'll help them feel better. It can even improve mood, as you see a lot of studies now on humans showing that gut health is directly tied to our brain health as far as how we feel fighting depression. So if you start to give this to your senior and you notice they're feeling a lot better and they're a lot more alert, it can often be because their gut health is improving. Their gut health is improving. And pairs well with this chia seeds and the fiber supplement because these fibers end up being a food source for your beneficial bacteria. They get into the belly, they get into your senior dog's stomach, and they feed on those fibers. It's called prebiotics. As humans, we would typically eat things like onions, garlic, but obviously dogs can't eat onions, so we'll let them rely on the fiber to do that. Very important addition. This is super cheap. Like I said, you can get it at any supermarket. You don't have to make it at home. And it will absolutely revitalize your dogs, your senior dogs, even your puppies. If you have puppies, give them this. Any age of a dog, give them Kefir, okay? Again, to recap. So, for this 70-pound dog, we take 500 grams of pork, put it in. We take 100 grams. Here I've mixed a little bit of spinach, a little bit of pumpkin, both cooked in either bone broth or pork fat. There'll be a recipe for the bone broth at the end of this video as well and in the description. Mix it all up. Mix it with the chia seeds, the fiber. This all goes in the fridge just like this, even with the supplements in. Oh, I also add the vitamin, mineral, and electrolyte supplement in. So everything's in. The only thing I add at the last moment is fish oil. This is something you always want to keep out of oxygen to prevent oxidation. So the more it stays in the bottle, refrigerated, the better. This is a last second addition. And like I said, for Genghis, her chemotherapy pills go at the very last second. And that's it. It's very easy. I'll put a link to the keto. You simply put in your senior dog's weight, activity level, which would range from, they give like 3 options, I believe. One who just basically sits on the couch all day, doesn't do much other than eat and go out to pee. one who's pretty active, follows you around the house, goes out for maybe a walk every few days, and then the more active, especially for seniors who are walking every day, like Angus walks 3 times a day, whether I like it or not. If I don't, she starts to headbutt the leash. Some of the other seniors here are also walking daily or semi-daily, depending on their joint health. Most of them walk or play every day, so they're all in the active. So for active seniors like we have here, we have 4 seniors right now. They walk daily, they play daily. We have to put that into account when we calculate how much food they need. So go over there, calculate how much you need. I strongly suggest starting with pork or beef. You won't have to add fat. You won't have to worry about all these extras as far as, not these extras, but as far as if you're doing chicken, then you got to start getting into putting butter or ghee and all these different things. And that's fine if you have the time and you want to do those. But this I find is the most cost effective because you buy the meat in bulk, cook it all at once, goes in the containers. Most of them go in the freezer. Freezing does not affect taste. Believe me, if Genghis and some of the other seniors here are eating it, there is no effect to the taste. I keep 2 in the fridge at all times, and then we add in and then we pull them out of the freezer as needed. So that's all you need. Make sure you hit subscribe and check out the other videos on why you should do ketogenic diet for your senior dog, how to prepare bone broth, and various other videos that can help your senior dog enjoy a longer, stronger, happier, healthier life.